Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The birds are outside chirping. The happiness is widely distributing because it is Thursday. It's the 23rd of May in the year of 2013, and this is a daily, the 591st daily, where we learn to be a better gamer. I want to talk a little bit about etiquette. I'm in a little bit of a tangential mood, so eventually we will do the main topic of today's daily, which is to discuss DIMAGA going 2-0 with MVP using some really solid play. We won't focus too much on the real standard basic timings, because I talk about those a lot. This is more of the, ooh, now there's something really cool sort of thing. I want more appreciation. Just kind of a typical game analysis. But there's something I just want everyone to know right off the bat. So often we use first, second, third, and such things, and then we go fourth, fifth, whatever, fifth, even like 591th, I guess you'd say. Do you do this? 591st? I guess so. But what I really like to do is just use RD on all of them. I really enjoy this. I picked this up from playing Counter-Strike, where I had 4 buddies, so we always needed a third to be able to play. Third, second, third, forward, third, third, severed, nerd, third? I don't know. I just like RD. We're gonna take a third base. Yeah, I'll save that. So good. We are in the 593rd daily. 591 RD. In today's daily, we will be looking at 2 games between DIMAGA and MVP. Next week, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be doing WCS USA round of 16 games. Woo! Good. Monday's Fun Day Monday is the We Have Liftoff Fun Day Monday, where you have to lift off. Play as Terran, you lift your command center off, you land it somewhere else, and then you start the game. It's happening on Monday. And tomorrow I'll be continuing my playthrough of Portal 2. Next Friday, I'm going to play Antichamber. I'm worried that suddenly I've hit Giggletown. Those nachos that I had before the show deeply relaxed me because I was not hungry, and yet I put it in, and my body's like, what do we do with all this starch? Go to sleep. Go to sleep. And I was like, oh, we have to do a show. I actually drank a 1.5 cups of this before. It's doing nothing. All it's doing is eating the lining in my stomach. This is coffee, by the way. I didn't tell you what was in this. This could just be ammonia. I chugged paint thinner because I knew I needed to wake up for the show. Whatever. Let's go on in here, man. I'm sorry. That's just... This isn't me. This is the bread talking. It's all that gluten. We have DIMAGA up here. Ooh, this show's gonna be excellent. This is really good. We have MVP down here. DIMAGA says good luck, have fun, good game first, because he knows. He's got the spirit. He's got the spirit of Zerg floating in him. This map, I think, is a real pain in the ass for Zerg. Because you can get this as a 4th, and this is a 5th, or, you know, whatever. Maybe this is a 4th and that is a 5th, but getting a 6th sucks. It's so bad. Like, this 6th has the vulnerable drop here. It can be attacked from like 1,000,001 angles. What if we wanted to take this? Well, same thing. He can drop up here and shoot down, or he can just drop from this angle. And no matter what, we're expanding close to him. Therefore, try to win on 5 bases. There's no need for my head to be at this extreme of an angle, but I was watching 24 earlier today. And people always come up to the president. Mr. President, we've had an update from the Prime Minister. And it's just like always. And the president's always like really intense because President Palmer's a fucking badass, isn't he? He's getting in there, his nostrils flaring, and he is like 50% larger than every other person in that show. In every way, like, taller, just like, I mean, it's actually like they just multiplied him and he's just like towering over people. Right now, he's yelling at a journalist. It's really exciting. 24 is a good show. But yeah, you want to try to win on 5 bases. Tangent? Okay. Good. Do we have sound on? No. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and speed through the start of this game. Pretty common that we're going to be up against a Reaper player. MVP does like to go for his pretty typical fast command center. Command center first. Very good build. Everything DIMAGA's doing I would describe as standard and necessary. Hatch on 15. Building 2 more. Drones. Building a spawning pool. Spawning pool. And there it is. Command center on the low ground. A brave play by MVP. I will note, most players build it up here to be safe. However, Root Cats has been doing this thing where if he sees you going command center first, he expands to your natural. And there's actually not that much that the Terran player can do about it. So DIMAGA is doing, I would say, probably the far and away most standard timing. Getting this gas up early. And if you get it before 26, you really are essentially declaring, I am going Zergling speed and then pulling dudes off gas. That's a pretty fair statement to make. If you try to go for layer and keep these dudes in gas, you just don't really have enough drones. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So DIMAGA sees this. Pretty typical. We're almost 100% of the time going to be up against a Hellioning player only. Maybe 1 out of 20 times we'll be up against something else. Because so many people does it. So DIMAGA, I think, is doing the smart thing, pulling dudes off gas. Pulls drones to his expansion, but why? Because he already has 16 in the main base. Oh, yes, DIMAGA. Doing so good. So right now, nothing too notable. Trying to take the third AFAP, which is as fast as possible. Very different from the Apple device iFAP. I don't know. It'd be really a very quality product. It would be all the rage. It would be both indie and mainstream at the same time. Third base going down. Very common timing. 6 minutes. I think that's probably as canonical an opening as you get. And then upon taking the third base, put dudes back in gas, get a second geyser. Oh! The fact that DIMAGA's not getting a second geyser, I think is fine. I prefer to get a second geyser straight up, right away. And actually, I want to note the 3 big deviations that I'm thinking of if I'm a Zerg player. So one of them is going to be third command center, turtle. I don't care to call it mech or bio yet. I'm just going to call it turtle because there's an immediate deviation. There's the turtle style going down this path. This is just a fun motion to do. So let's do it the other way. Going down this other path, going down this way, over here, is going to be exactly what MVP is doing. Going for a bio play without a third command center. That's pretty typical. And this is essentially for a 10-minute strike. 10-minute key number. Just think about that one. Then, the third one, I will put under the aggro junk column. This is things like Hellbat drops. This is things like going for weird Hellion Marauder pushes. What are just if he just gets an expansion and then he's just like, ah, I'm gonna kill you now, surprise. That's all one category. So again, 3 command center turtle, really fast bio medevac transition, or aggro junk. Why do I have these 3 columns? Why do I divide this into 3? Because they behave differently. Aggro junk, I have to just stay alive versus 1 attack and then I win. Then versus the powering thing, geez, I gotta get my tech up too, or else I'm gonna lose it in late game. And then this middle one that we're seeing right here is the I need to have both acute defense for 1 round of pressure, and then I need to subsequently have my tech up. So I think DIMAGA's being a schmarty pants, checking out everything. Sees these 4 Hellions. Good. 7 minutes is about the last time that we would see this. So cool. QL. Excuse me. So, speed right up. Let's see all the cool things DIMAGA does and gets done, other than putting dudes in gas. Ah, and there it is. Okay. So, most common thing we'll see is a single Evo chamber and a Baneling nest. Here we see a slightly less common, but also very typical, double evolution chamber. A couple of lings are popping out, all that good stuff. I mean, DIMAGA right now doesn't know if his opponent is meching, does not know if his opponent is going bio, doesn't really have any sense of the broad range of possibilities that could be coming out. However, at this moment in time, DIMAGA does what I would call a fairly unusual choice, to go straight for this 4th macro hatch rather than go for a very, very swift Spire, which tends to be the most common one. But this play, this extra hatch up play, is increasingly becoming one of the good old strats du jour. This layer's really only purpose is for Baneling speed or Overseers if we need it. Of course, a Spire to follow. But DIMAGA has kind of hit one of these annoying moments where it didn't get up to that money count of drones, had actually to stop to build a bunch of Zerglings. Now, this Baneling nest, if we note the timing, it's about 60 seconds. It will pop out just in time for these sorts of 10-minute pushes, the 9-minute, 30-second pushes. So I'll just come back to the DIMAGA. Yeah. Is there anything even noteworthy to note here? Yeah, I think I would say that these Zerglings are probably the most significant bit of information. When did these arrive here? They should be getting there around 8 minutes or so. Okay. Looks like they end up arriving closer to 9 minutes, but still same logic applies, right? If he's going for some sort of 3-base turtle, he'll probably have taken this already. If he is going for some sort of very fast, aggressive junk, now we go, uh-oh, I don't see anything. So just a flood of lings is coming out for DIMAGA. Just a ridiculous flood of lings. Kind of hard to actually support this without the excess hatchery going to be coming up soon. Were those Widow Mines? Yeah, MVP. Being a champ. This was, I think, the blunder that cost MVP this early, this early attack. This Marine with Hellion push is really, really annoying, and I think that DIMAGA could have been in potentially dire straits. But mass Zergling with just a couple of Banelings are more than enough to sort of deflect this, and DIMAGA waits until way the last second to move in there, which is excellent. Waiting until these Marines are full up in this base. Hitting from an angle where either either MVP really has to commit or really pull back. And everything else is going pretty much as anticipated. And now we have a read. Nice. So DIMAGA can identify, yes, indeed, my opponent is going for some sort of Ling. Or is not going for Ling. He's actually going for Marine, Medevac Mine. Very typical composition. But the mines are a little bit of the funky one. I'm personally a big fan of Life's style, which is to just get quite an early 4th and to not even really do very much aggression at all. To stay pretty conservative. These dudes in gas, most important, because obviously if we get an expansion up, we can't saturate our minerals without a lot of gas. We can't saturate our minerals without a lot of drones, but we can saturate it, our gas without a lot of drones. And I'm just going to move ahead, because there's nothing that noteworthy at this point. Other than the fact that these Mutalisks are very defensive. There's really no need to attack. What damage are you really going to do with Mutalisks against a Biomine player? And this is kind of like a weird question, because I mean, always, you just, harass with Mutalisks. But against a Biomine player, it doesn't do much. Against a Marine tank player, okay, cool, he will, have to spend some stims, certainly, but you can pick off tanks. You know that he doesn't have the best anti-air. I mean, Marines are really good at killing Mutalisks, but they're not good at stopping harass from occurring at all. Mines are amazing at stopping harass from occurring at all. And weirdly, completely paradoxically, the Terran player is almost happy if there's Mutalisks here, because then he can do a medevac plus small Marine push up like this and cut across. So the defensive Mutalisks, yeah! Them defensive mutas. I mean, everything else structurally kind of looks the same. Getting these extra upgrades. Infestation Pit actually can come early. Fourth hatch can come, fourth base can come proportionally early. And DIMAGA's just chilling. Oh, the ease of playing against Biomine. Yeah, taking all the watchtowers. We might consider taking our Mutalisks down there to kill this off, but not really. Insta Hive. Yeah. Insta Pathogen Glands. Yeah. Normally, there's a Terran timing push that can come at like 14 or 15 minutes where the Terran will have 2-2, but that is if he went for the third command center first. This is where it's actually unbelievably useful to note the fact that MVP did go for this like 3 barracks push at the start. This will delay the 2-2 upgrades to like 15 or 16 minutes. So DIMAGA actually has quite a long time to get his stuff up. If a Terran player is going for fast 3 command center, it's like a 14-minute push, almost always, or 14, or like 13:30 if you're flash. But the bomber build, sort of established 14-minute push, is pretty typical. This hive timing is pretty typical against a really passive macro-based Terran. So the fact that DIMAGA's doing this against a really aggressive Terran, this is a very early hive proportionally. Why can we get away with this? Because we saw the damn mines. We saw those mines pop out. And of course a couple of Zerglings just to make sure that no big flood of tanks comes out. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, 5 bases, pretty easy to have. Anything beyond 5 bases, pretty dang hard to have. So DIMAGA does what is by and large very Protoss, ZVP-looking maneuver. The weird plays are what's coming up right now. The Infestation Pit, the Insta 4th and 5th, and Hive. And now, going up to 87 drones. He's still droning. He's going drone crazy. Additional mines reveal their faces. This is perfect. Banelings, the unusual direct counter unit to this sort of bio-mine. Jeez, did I overstate that? Wow. They're not the direct counter unit. Mines, though, are surprisingly good. That's the best way to put it. They're better than you would think. On paper, you say, I retreat over the mines. And then the banelings die. But the problem is you actually have to be retreating over the mines. It's not like with siege tanks, where the siege tanks just shoot everything to death that's way over there. None of that jazz happens. So great. Everything DIMAGA's doing is just nice and defensive. Did he pick off a thing over there? He may have. Oh yeah, there it is. Defensive Mutalisks. So good. See you later, medevac. Peace. Because Biomine is actually not so great if they're attacking. I'll actually do this. It's not so great if you are attacking straight up in one huge pack. Again, unless you're flash. A lot of the strength comes from the fact that we can split our dudes up so efficiently. So whereas a lot of players will begin throwing down spines all over here, all around these bases, DIMAGA rather places a couple of these mobile units, gets these Mutalisks in here, and then just like holds the front. And these infestors are like a really weird change from Wings of Liberty. Ordinarily, how did Ling Infestor work against Marine tank? Well, you just would do huge engagements and trap the Marines, or if he got a little too far forward, he would you could pick off packs with fungals. It was really good at picking off packs at the front. Primarily here, these infestors are the delay tactic for the frontal army to allow the rest of these swift units to clean everything up. So let's actually look at this starting at the I think it's at the 15-minute mark. because these tactics are really great. So build order-wise, DIMAGA's like, alright, cool, taking all these bases. Taking this early infestation pit, this really early hive. Uh-oh, huge-ass army coming in. So what does DIMAGA do? First, deals with this. We see all the Zergling, Baneling going to also be able to go up here. We see them already heading with a huge rally. The things that remain by the front are the infestors. So there's already a cleanup in the bottom left. Here's the cleanup that's happening at the top. And normally we would just lose this base immediately, but thanks to the fact that we have these infestors to be able to do stuff like this, you don't need a ton of infestors to do these sorts of delays. Just a little bit to ensure these Mutalisks can achieve their safe, comfortable position up at the front, where DIMAGA can then thusly go ahead and kill everything off. Leading with the Zerglings, and there's just really not that much that MVP can do now, because he's lost 2 medevacs worth of stuff, and DIMAGA is no longer split up. This has suddenly just become a straight numbers battle. And the instant DIMAGA sort of gets off creep and has killed off most of the stuff that he needs to, he just pulls away. And that's where I'll stop for now. When we come back in part 2, we're going to watch DIMAGA continue on, but I thought that 90-second period was really nice. And we're going to see DIMAGA then tech up to Ultralisks. The infestors that we had in very small numbers, still just enough to delay the units at the front so we can clean up all the harassment and then engage. We go Ultralisk to follow up because we have this infestor mix. We've got just a few infestors to stay alive, and now they combine very well with the Ultralisk later on. We'll be back in about 3 minutes for part 2.